I'm Annie.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
And we're
Overcommitted.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Sorry we took a little break last week. It just felt crazy to be podcasting.
With the We Live in LA.
We
If
live in
anybody
LA.
doesn't know, in the wildfires.
Yeah.
It felt weird to be like, livestock parenting
Yeah.
and life and couples. Where
Yeah.
it was just, for lack of a better term, survival mode.
Yeah, and it still is a little bit, which is crazy.
It still is. Fire's still going. We are out of the woods, I think, for the most part. Anything could change, but we are like in a much safer place than we were a week ago.
It's so weird. We're in this spot where the fires have been all around us, but not close enough to really be impactful, but with the threat of constantly it could be impactful for like a week and a half now. And I sometimes feel really stupid for how, like, not stupid, that's such a terrible word, but I feel really like over the top for how I'm like feeling about it all. But then, like, even this morning I was at the gym and they were like, here's the areas that should be concerned in the next 48 hours. And it was like our area.
Yeah.
And I was like, I thought we were out of the woods. It's so, I don't know. It's like weird. It's a lot of weird feelings, like survival guilt a little bit, and just like, just not feeling steady, but also feeling like I certainly can't complain. This city has been just torn apart.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think the certainly can't complain thing is really hitting. I mean, we didn't have much. It was just our kids were out of school and we were not even in an evacuation area. And I think I've been like hyper aware of, even like with Overcommitted and with my other channel, Dumb Dads, of making sure I'm like, I'm not trying to ever make it come across that we are in a bad position. We're just,
no, yeah.
There was a good scare that we had, but other than that, it's like we've been, fortunate, for lack of a better word.
But not on high alert, which is definitely exhausting after like a week and a half with kids, like worried about, are we doing, and also like just I'm not grown up enough to know, like, are we making the right choice?
Let's get into that.
There were so many times of like, should we go if for no other reason than to be just out of everybody's way?
Right.
If something does happen, then we're not in the line of cars. We're not in your way. But then I don't want to be in anybody's way who needs the roads right now.
You're right. So you were just constantly.
Which is probably also silly. Like you can take roads that are not going to be in the way of people.
It's like shadowing a waiter at a busy restaurant. You're like, I feel like I could just leave. It seems a little too busy for me to be here.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're fine here. And I was like, I feel like I'm not, though.
Yeah. And then somehow when we came up with the idea to leave that day, God, Kevin and I, it was like third day in a row being like insignificant fear. I think those first couple days were like very worrisome.
I don't know that they were insignificant. The first couple of days were definitely like, we weren't in any danger, but the danger was on a beeline towards us.
I said insignificant fear.
Not insignificant, insignificant.
Insignificant.
Not insignificant.
Like we were having trouble sleeping. We were, waking up, checking our phones every time.
Yes.
Yeah. There was significant panic, I think, among everybody that lives anywhere near stuff.
Yes.
After a couple days of that, and then kind of feeling like we were probably out of the woods. Also barring any like fire starts near us because they just keep popping up.
We brought our kids to take their minds off of it. We took them to Chuck E. Cheese.
But that whole morning, you and I had been like, maybe we should just leave. I mean, the kids aren't in school. Maybe we just leave. I don't know. Should we not leave? What if we leave our house?
This was Thursday. They were off school Thursday.
And then
Did we gotten the notice? But we hadn't gotten the notice yet, but it sounded pretty certain that Friday was going to happen.
Yeah. And so we were kind of trying to make plans of like, if we're out of school tomorrow, why don't we just go to your parents? Why wouldn't we? What are we staying for?
Yeah.
And the two of us, like Kevin's a Libra, so we know what that means.
All right. That's not a thing.
I'm just indecisive because of my, I don't know,
What?
ancestry.
What? You're not Libra.
I know, I'm a Leo. I should have led you right out of here.
You're a lion, right?
Yeah, Leo.
Okay.
They call it a Leo, not a lion.
It's not Leo the lion? That's not his name? It's not Leo the lion?
It is a lion. It's just...
So it's Leo the lion.
It's not a mascot for a sports team.
His name isn't Leo?
Who's he? It's an
the
astrological
lion.
sign.
But it's a lion.
It's a constellation.
Why doesn't he have a name?
What are we talking about?
Am I the first one to name Leo?
What are the Gemini's names?
Huh? I don't even know what a Gemini is.
Twins.
What is twins?
That's our daughter's sign.
Jemmy and Nicole. Gemini. I can keep going.
Anyway, we couldn't get it together to decide whether to leave or not, and then we finally did because we got a scary notification that everyone in LA received, making it seem like we all had to panic and get out. And then
everyone received.
I mean, very shortly after we received a notification that was like, "Oh, sorry, not you."
Not I know. Correction. Fact check. We never got that.
I did. I think event. Oh, did I never? I don't know. I think I did eventually, but everyone around us got it and sent it.
I
to
never
us.
got a sorry. I'm not looking for it. You don't
Well,
need to
then why are we
email us.
home, Kevin?
Because everyone else and their mother, we got a notification, a beep that like, one of those, like you get with an Amber Alert or whatever, and it just like automatically hits your phone, that loud, horrifying sound.
Yeah, it's not a beep. It's a
Yeah.
I'm so sorry
It's
to do that.
not
into the
that either.
microphone. Isn't it?
Yours was like yours is like an 80s action movie when the
Is this whole-
plant is like the reactor is gonna go.
But it does repeat, right? Whatever the noise is that everyone knows
Sure.
that you get it on your phone. So
Sure.
Amber Alerts, Silver Alerts.
Yeah.
It's so loud and disconcerting. And we had just been telling our kid, we're in the car, we just been telling our kids, we're okay. It's all going to be okay. But we are thinking about leaving our home. And then this alert goes off.
Yeah.
And neither one of us can really hold our panic because we think it's real.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, turn the car, go home. Go home. And then both
That's
of our kids
exactly
are
what
like,
we
what's
said.
going on? I'm like, nothing's wrong. We're fine. We're fine. We need to get this and we need to get this. We're making plans. And you're trying to tell the kids everything is fine while that sound is playing. It's like impossible.
Yeah, I do want to talk about this, how like a pause in this moment before we continue on is I've talked about a lot here about imposter syndrome as a parent.
Yeah.
How there's just no, blah, blah, blah. There's no manual and whatever. And you just feel like, am I doing things wrong? Am I qualified, for lack of a better word, to do this? And I will say this was like one of, if not the first major time, if not one of the times where it was just kind of like it kicked in. It felt fine. Like I felt like, all right. Like you have to step up. You have to be in control.
Uh-huh.
Like there is no... And I'm sure I've had that
And
another
you felt good about it or you felt bad about it?
I felt good about it because it's an emergency.
Yeah.
So I wasn't
You did great.
second guessing things. I was just like, it was just like an autopilot of like, oh, okay, you have to do this. You have to do this. You have to take care of the kids. You have to get them in the car.
Yeah.
I mean, it was funny. We were coming back from Chuck E. Cheese. The whole reason we went to Chuck E. Cheese is because we wanted to like take the kids' minds off of it, kind of take our minds off it a little bit, even though that wasn't going to happen because we were just going to be checking that Watch Duty app over and over again. And they've started this new thing where they love to like just blast through all of their play points because we have like the monthly.
Yeah. And there's one machine that's it feels like gambling. I love it.
I know you do. And
But
they
we
burn
just
through it in
burned
20
so
minutes
fast.
and it's like, okay, so this the length of the drive.
Yeah,
was-
we went
was
through
this.
fast.
But yeah, then we went home. The alarm went off and it was like, all right, time to go home. And yeah, then we went home and we started packing up.
Yeah.
A neighbor came running over and he's like, it's a false alarm. And I was like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like it was a false alarm. It's only for this area.
At that point, it was like, if it's even getting this real, why are we not going? Just go. So we just went to your parents. But that was the point where we packing up. Like I was like in a mode of like all or nothing. Like I don't know what to bring. I don't know what to bring from our house at all. I couldn't think of anything I had to have unless I could have the whole house.
I know.
I sort of just like packed stuff from the dryer. It didn't even make sense. When we got to your parents' house, I like didn't pack any bras, which is good for me. Of the last things that you need,
Wait, you packed from the dryer?
Yeah, that was my first thought. Was like, I can't figure out how to get outfits together for the whole family right now, and I don't really care. And we're gonna be at your parents, so we can if I have one thing that works as an outfit for each member of our family, we can wash it at your parents.
Oh, that's funny that didn't work out for you because I literally had talked to somebody recently who said, yeah, you just take your dirty laundry. Pack your dirty laundry.
Oh, 'cause you
because
know
those
it's
are all
recently.
outfits that you like.
Well,
you
that was
fit
my
in.
thinking. Was like, it's from the dryer.
you
It's
did
just
it.
clean laundry. Yeah, except it's
Apparently you
clean.
didn't wear bras for a week.
Yeah, maybe not. I've probably been in sports bras or something. I did have a couple of sports bras, I guess.
Oh,
but
okay.
Who's wearing that?
I was in a haze when we were packing, similar to, or I can like, the only other time I can remember feeling like this was when you called me to tell me your water broke with our first.
Just like, what do I do? How do I?
Not what do I do, but like a numb, if that's the right word, of just like kind of like almost outer body experience. Like I remember the driving home from the bar that I was working at, not partying, and when you had told me your water broke, and driving home, and it was almost an out of body experience of just like, all right, you're about to become a dad, like that whole thing. And it was similar with this packing. But what was funny is when the neighbor came over, I remember feeling so stupid because we threw in a huge suitcase. We threw in our dog kennel. And so it's clear the LaFerriers are heading out.
Right.
As the neighbor comes over, I am putting in scooters. Like people are like, "What's the important things you're going to take with you?" And I'm putting scooters in the car because
I couldn't think of the important things. You know, in that moment, I almost wish we had baby books or something. We don't have baby books. We don't keep albums. You know, you thought to grab like our wedding album, which is, to be fair, not like a heirloomy thing. It's kind of more of a my mom put it together on.
I think it's our shower. I think that's
our shower. I think we also have like a wedding album that my mom put together. I don't know. You grabbed some
albums,
I grabbed
some
a bunch kids'
of
books. You grabbed
we have board books that you and I made for each other.
My mom, like you grabbed some stuff that like when I found it in the car after we came back, I had to take a moment to like not fully break down because I was like, "Oh, Kev, I had no idea you brought all that stuff." It was just like in the trunk of our car hidden. I grabbed the stuff that we needed for documents, which like is just like some of the stuff that we probably should have had. I have no idea if it was a good grouping.
I mean, I think you grabbed it. Yeah. But we were lucky we didn't have to worry about it at the end of the day. But you did have to worry about it in that moment.
Uh-huh.
And it was weird. If anybody is wondering, I packed the scooters because my parents live in the gated community, and the roads are
get why you brought the
money.
Scooters.
And it was just great for the kids.
And we were not really thinking we were going to lose our house, but you just never know what was going to happen while we were gone.
I mean, we had to pack like we were, which was weird.
But I didn't do a good job of it. People said you're supposed to film around your house.
Didn't do that. Didn't do that.
Really dark. The thing that we forgot to bring was my mom, which we have her ashes in our home, and we did not bring her with us.
No man left behind. Whoops.
I didn't consider that till later, and that felt awful weird. I couldn't think of anything to bring. I was so, and I feel like I've a little bit been in that cloud for like the last week.
I think your mom is such a people pleaser though, in a good way. I think your mom would have been happy with that.
She would have been.
She'd been like, "Oh my god, please no, please just leave me. I'll be fine. You guys take what you need. I'll find my own way."
It's true. I feel like I've been in a little bit of that like malaise for like the last week. I started the year with so much good intention and New Year's resolution-y type crap.
Mm-hmm. Same.
And really was like on a like go-getter spree. And for like the last week, I feel like I've just been in a daze, like just going through the motions a little bit.
It all feels so stupid, and I don't mean to belittle people because like we were part of it. Like we said, we didn't like set New Year's resolutions, but we kind of did.
I totally did. I think so. I was marking off in a bullet journal.
Never mind.
You even know me?
I didn't have a bullet journal, but I know you're like, here's my New Year's resolution. Like
it's mostly
we're doing
my
it and not doing it.
Yeah.
But it is like, I'm gonna start doing this, lifestyle changes, all that stuff. And all of that goes away when you're in a situation like this, and just kind of reminds you, like you have that moment where you feel bad. You're like, haven't been working out like I said I was gonna, and that feels so stupid.
So stupid. Well, a lot of my plans for the new year were to get really into like our social media and start really trying to push that, and it just felt like I don't know what I'm even gonna post or say. Like I don't have anything to say. It feels disingenuous to be laughing about stuff right now.
Yeah.
I mean, even just now, a few minutes ago when we were telling part of that story and I was laughing, I was like, does this feel wrong? Like, and it's our story of our last week.
Yeah.
But it feels bad to be laughing when so many people in this city are going through so much. It's really hard to break out of that feeling of like, when are we, I don't know, supposed to get back to it when so many people are unable to right now?
I think, you can get back to it now. People are still back at it. I just think I'm very cautious and annoyed at the content that is directed at this for views. And I think
I don't talk about that, but yeah.
That is the thing I'm probably, and that's where we hesitate because I'm in the same boat of like, what do we, I don't know, make jokes about like, oh, pick up today. Or I mean, it's like, well, right. Easy, buddy. 2 neighborhoods over is evacuated.
Wishing they were picking up their kids from their school.
Yeah.
School's burned down. I know.
But at the same time, I think we're getting to the point where it's like, everybody could use a laugh.
That's true.
And that is something that could be fun. But I am wary
Yeah.
of people making content that are just like, here's stuff about the fires, and it's like, ew.
If it's not meant to help directly
If
or
it's not meant to
something.
help,
Yeah.
obviously, if it's like, here's things you can do to help, but there's certain people making like sketches and stuff, and I'm like,
It's
yo,
the weird part of social media that we're like ingrained to like try and post it regularly and make it a job, but like sometimes you gotta take time off from the job. I can't take time off from my other real job that I've been working.
and that's why I have to, in a way, keep
But
doing
I
it too.
can
It is
take
my
time off
job.
from this.
Yeah.
Along with that, the day that we decided to leave for a little break, we just left for 2 days and then we came back.
Yeah.
Like a day and a half. I'm so glad we did because I was really like that day I just started to struggle with just like the weight and sadness of it all. And like I remember it was so funny because that morning you were having a conversation with the other dumb dad, your business partner, our friend Evan, and he was talking about how like, you know, they were trying to keep the kids like kind of away from it. And I had like 10 minutes previously just been all out sobbing on the couch with both kids like putting their arm on me and being like, it's okay, Mom.
Yeah.
I just broke down, but it wasn't like in fear for us. And I made sure that they knew that
Yeah,
that
you're
was
sad
the
for
case.
others.
I was sad for other people and like what everyone's going through. And I had just been watching something about it and I just broke down. But I was not able to keep it, you know, under wraps. And sometimes I'm happy that our kids witness our feelings.
Yeah, I definitely saw something that said, in this time, do not hide your feelings.
Right.
Have your feelings. That's totally okay. And kind of it all goes out the window in an emergency. So however you can, there is like no wrong. If you want to keep it from your kids,
Yeah.
great. If you want to, obviously not you, and you weren't.
No, I for sure wouldn't show them like panic or fear for our lives or anything.
But showing you having feelings for other things, that's a great thing for them to see.
Well, then I will say that it went on further. This is the story that I wanted to tell you a little bit. It's such a weird. Anyway, so we've talked a lot about how like kids, you know, like right before bed, they'd let it all out.
Yeah.
And our kids are huge about this. And it's like all day, how was school? What happened? Nothing comes out. In the car to swim, nothing comes out. Like they'll never tell you. And they talk, but they're never really getting into anything. And sometimes you talk to them a bunch, but they just don't tell you. I find the real stuff really comes out.
The truth serum.
The truth serum pops in right before they fall asleep.
Yes.
So every night I go in, I lay down with both of our kids. It's exhausting.
Laying down with both kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of those everyone's one of those people. You put your kids down and you want to have a minute of a life afterwards. You want to either watch a show or, you know,
I'm desperate for that.
play a game with you.
Do not like.
You love to have your time.
Love to have my time.
Sometimes I'm happy to go to bed right after it, but a lot of times I want to like sit, especially if we plan a night or something. I want to like have a cocktail with you, play a game, watch a show we've been meaning to watch, whatever. Like do something after they go to bed. Sometimes I convince myself I have to do work, and sometimes I do edit podcasts or whatever after they go to bed. So the idea of like laying down for like half an hour in a dark room and then getting back up to get yourself to go back to work at like 8:30 p.m. sucks. And I still try to do it as much as possible, specifically with our older child, our 8-year-old, because she shares all the info at bedtime. It's not the only reason I do it. I also like to cuddle her. She likes cuddles. So this specific night, we had a day. I'd cried in front of them. We'd had the emergency alert. Both of our kids definitely panicked a little bit during that. We did not totally hide our fear, which is understandable given the alert.
So this is at my parents'?
Yeah. But then now we've driven to your parents. We spent 3 hours in the car. We left the house.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure they took in some of that. You know, look, our
Definitely.
neighbors were
Well,
all outside
she
looking down. You
definitely
could see
did.
a fire. Yeah, she did. Maybe not our younger one. She definitely did. And I was laying down with her at your parents' house that night. And that was one of those nights where I was like, I'm putting the kids down and I'm going to bed. I'm going to barely speak to anybody. I'm just tired. So I laid down with her and we're talking, just checking in with her. How are you feeling? And she said, you know, like, sorry, I didn't understand your crying earlier. And I was like, oh, that's okay. You were really, you know, nice to me. And you patted me. And like, it was really sweet the way you and Julian took care of me when I was having those feelings. And she was like, yeah, I'm just a kid. And I don't really understand empathy yet. And I was like, 100%, I get it. And she kind of was referencing, I think, one of her friends that is labeled empathetic a lot. And she's like, I'm not that empathetic.
Yeah.
And I was like, you are extremely empathetic. You just don't realize the ways that you are.
Right.
And it's not unusual for you not to be crying for strangers at your age. Like, that's empathy that you will probably, hopefully develop. I mean, not that you necessarily have to cry.
Right.
And then I was reminded of a time. This is where I'm like, maybe I was traumatized or tired, or because this conversation got weird. I was like, I remember watching my mom cry once when I was a kid and being completely baffled by her feelings for other people and being confused. Like, why is she crying for these people that I kind of got it, but I couldn't understand like the level of emotion that she was showing.
Yeah.
That was during the Oklahoma City bombing in 1995, I think, the Oklahoma City bombing. So I must have been like 12, 11 when it happened. Our daughter's 8. And she was like, oh, well, what happened? And I was like, well, it's one of those moments where, like, do I just shrug this off and walk away and be like, nothing you need to know about? I was like, oh, it was just a really tragic event in my home state.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And then she's like, what happened?
No. Then people got hurt. That's all you got to say.
And I was like, there was a bombing and it was really upsetting. And she was like, what's a bombing? And I was like, it's, somebody set off a bomb and some people died. Okay. And she was like, oh, who did it? And I was like, I don't know why. I just couldn't get out of the conversation.
This is us at my parents.
At your parents, in your
home,
parents' bedroom, because that's where our kids sleep when they're
close
there.
on fire.
Yeah. I was like, there's a man named Timothy McVeigh. Each time I'm like, okay, and that's it. And I'm trying to like leave the room. And she was like,
who leaves the room on Timothy McVeigh? Good night.
Because she doesn't know who he is. She doesn't need to know any more information. And then she was like, was he popular? And I was like, was Timothy McVeigh popular? And she's like, yeah, like he's a bad guy. Was he popular like a bad guy? And I was like, are bad guys popular? And she's like, Bowser.
Infamous.
And then I was like, Bowser's popular? And she's like, yeah, oh yeah, all the Koopas know him.
That's a great joke.
And I was like, uh-huh. Yeah, no. I don't think he was popular like Bowser. Anyway, are you feeling okay? I'm going to go. I love you.
That's incredible.
I snuck out. I walked right out and I was like, I should tell Kevin about this conversation, but I also just want to go to bed. So I just went to bed. But that's the conversation we had about Timothy McVeigh and Bowser.
Having an 8-year-old is so confounding, if that's the right word, because she will say things so mature, like, I'm just a kid, man.
Yeah.
I can't process what you're doing. I'd love to, but I can't. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's very mature of you. And then she'll also, in the same breath, be like, Bowser's popular. All the Koopas know him. And you're like, oh, you're still a child. You're still very much a child.
And it was such a weird, I know it's such a strange thing to literally speak about to your kid, but that was a choice I made in the moment that I don't necessarily stand by. But it does bring me back to that moment. I mean, I think I was 11 years old, if I'm right about the dates. And I remember watching my mom watch the footage of the news and just like bawling. And I remember feeling the same thing. Like, I should be feeling what she's feeling. This is a human emotion, but I don't feel it. And then why don't I feel it? I guess it's because I'm a kid.
Yeah.
And now as a mom, I'm like, oh, I get 100% how she felt, or I'm sure I've probably felt empathy for longer than since I've been a mom.
Yeah. Yeah, you've been crying for a lot longer than that.
I've probably felt empathy for longer than the last 9 years. But, it's for kids, it's tough to and they shouldn't wrap their head around.
They shouldn't. You want to protect them from that kind of stuff. So it is like, I think with our kids, because they asked me about what's going on with the fires and stuff, and I just answered their questions very matter of fact.
That's what I did. Timothy McVeigh, he bombed.
Timothy McVeigh. There was a documentary. We can watch it sometime.
I was just answering questions. That's
what it was. The kids were asking, I think it was just me and them for whatever reason. And they were asking me about it. And I was very straightforward with my answers. And I was making sure not to beat them over the head with it.
Yeah.
If they weren't getting it. Because I was just like, because I think our daughter said something about the fires kind of casually. And I was like, well, it's very serious. And I was like, I don't know that I would say it like that. It's very serious. And she was just like, how serious? And I was like, people are losing their homes. And she's like, is anyone dying? And I was like, yes. And then just kind of like moved on. I wasn't stern. It was just very casual.
Yeah.
And then because like what you don't want to do is like hit them over the head and beat a trauma into them. I was just like, you should be sad about this. And it's just like, I'm just telling you what's up. So but like, it is what it is.
Yeah, we don't want to make
To
jokes
the
about
child,
it.
I'll say it is what it is. Obviously, let's do something and help
Right.
people.
Yeah.
But it's a tough, weird time to experience to have as a parent, to talk to your kids and get them to understand all this, but also at the same time keep them safe
Yeah.
and happy. And it's just that whole threading the needle thing that is parenting.
Especially when she's experimenting with making jokes and stuff. So you're trying to make sure she knows, like, don't go to school and pop off about something you don't understand.
Yeah.
She wouldn't, but she occasionally does throw a joke out. And I'm like, that's actually not at all funny.
Yep, she does.
And you have to kind of be like harsh about it just so she knows, because she's experimenting, you know?
And I love her.
God knows we miss a joke now. So I can't even imagine being 8 trying to put together thoughts that are funny.
All I'm going to say is I'm grateful social media wasn't
God,
a big deal when we were really trying jokes out in our early 20s.
Yeah. It made me happy that she, throughout all that day, was still talking about Mario, you know?
She's great.
She's great. No notes.
All that aside, we've been dealing with this for, has it been just only a week?
Yeah, I think it really started around Tuesday last week or Wednesday. Monday, I think I made jokes about the wind and then felt bad and took him off social media because I didn't realize it was going to turn into fires. And I probably should have. I was just
no wind jokes, Annie.
Wind's crazy, right? And then I was like, this is stupid and I'm an a-hole. And then I stopped posting forever.
Well, if you're writing winds are crazy, right? It's like not like a joke.
I think that is kind of what I posted.
You don't need to stand by anyway, so it's...
Yeah.
But you and I today celebrating 19 years
19
dating.
years, bud.
Together.
Happy dating anniversary.
Happy dating it. Yeah, not marriage.
People celebrate their dating anniversaries. We do.
We do. It's something to do in January.
Something to do. Everybody needs something to celebrate in January.
19 years ago, we went bowling. Right. Is this... Oh, see, this is where I don't know. It's not the bowling date.
No.
What was the bowling date?
It's January 11th.
Yeah.
Was our first date.
Then we came both.
January 13th was our second date. And January 15th, you asked me to be your girlfriend. I hooked you in quick.
Yeah, I like you.
Thanks. I like you too. Actually, you started asking me to be your girlfriend, and then I said,
Are you asking me to be your girlfriend?
Are you asking me to be your girlfriend? And I interrupted you, and I've just been interrupting you ever since.
That is correct.
It's crazy to think.
19 is fun. Now that I don't know if you do this every year, because I do this every year. I'm like, oh, okay, we're getting closer to us having been together longer than we haven't.
Yeah.
So we'll hit that milestone, obviously, with dating first. And then it'll be we've been married longer than we haven't been.
That's a long time.
That's a very long. I'll be 55.
Let's not talk about it. Jeez. Oh, I'm going to be so old. I'm just kidding.
I'll be 55 when we've been married longer than we haven't been.
And I'll be 56 or 57, depending on the month.
Maybe 58. I don't know how time works.
Doesn't work like that. We've come into the funniest, strangest problem lately. I don't know if anyone else has ever experienced this, but our son is getting like weirded out by photos from before he was born. We have a poster that is hanging up of all of our family members as members of the Incredibles that they made for my baby shower.
For his baby shower.
For his baby shower. My baby shower.
Your sprinkle.
My sprinkle. And, it's me and Kevin and our daughter and our dog. And he's like constantly like, why am I? He's been asking for years, why am I not in that? And we've always told him it's because you weren't born yet. This was for your baby sprinkle. Yep. And he recently like cried and we had to take it down. We'll probably put it back up. I hope.
I think I might order a photo of him as a baby and cut it out and just take off the glass, tape it on, and then hang it back up. And be like, you're there.
Yeah, that's cute.
Relax about it.
Relax about it.
But he's baby. So there's a baby Jack that just looks like Jack because we didn't know, obviously, what he was going to look like because Danny was pregnant. And one of my brother's friends photoshopped this and made me Mr. Incredible. You Mrs. Incredible. Our daughter is Violet and our dog Jack, which was funny.
Dash.
Sorry, Dash.
Yeah.
Our dog was Dash. And then Jack was just Jack because we don't know what the baby's going to look like. So I'm just going to cut his head out and put it over.
It's so funny. Would never have expected that kind of a feeling of like, you guys had a life before me. I don't think either of our kids care that we had a life before both of them. It's like you had a life with Lucy, with my older sister before me. That's not cool.
Which is funny because you made me.
They'll never discover we had a life before them.
No, if they're anything like me, which I think all people are.
Yeah.
Your parents didn't have an identity at all before you.
No. I was terrible about that.
Which is so weird because my parents like took trips and stuff.
Yeah.
And left us behind with like our grandparents and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's still, I was just like, yeah, but they're just parents. All they do is like work and yell at me. Like I had no like concept that they had a personality.
I feel like my mom tried desperately to show me who she was as like a child and a teenager, and I was always like, yeah. It's terrible.
All right,
We're the
all
worst.
right.
I'm gonna be that way someday. Look at me, I was fun. I made TikToks.
I mean, we're still, that's what we're doing now.
Or we still might be making TikToks, and she's gonna be like, "Ugh, God, stop,
Oh my gosh.
cringe."
Please don't go live when my friends are here. Well, I want to talk about one thing, which is just me just never learning.
Yeah.
Me and the struggle bus. I have been overwhelmed as of late, aside from everything else going on. Just, responsibilities of the PTA and then stuff I have to do for work, house stuff, medical stuff. Like there's just a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
And you suggested the other night that I work one night. Which I do some nights. I do like the podcast, or I do a lot of dumb dad stuff, but it was like, you need to do like admin stuff.
Yeah.
And I did last night. I stayed up till 10. I was exhausted because I've been waking speaking of New Year's resolutions, I've been waking up at like 5:45 to go to the gym.
That's the only thing I have been able to keep doing, going to the gym, which is still something, but it's like, because all I have to do is like just go there and do the thing.
Yeah, I just need to go there.
Can't keep my brain straight around anything else, but
I need to kind of commit to that because I've been going, and then I'm like, oh, you're doing good. And I was like, this is when you usually fall off. Like,
right, sure.
I'll take off a week. Anyway, I stayed up. I was so tired, but I was like, just stay up and do grunt work. And I definitely am like you, where I think my creative brain kind of shuts off later at night.
Yeah.
Not entirely. If I'm with somebody, I'm still able, but like writing by myself, it's really hard.
Yeah.
But I got so much work done in such a short amount of time that I was like, oh, this might be a thing I have to do every week.
Yeah.
Like once a week, just like go to didn't make myself like a cocktail or anything. It was just like water and a computer.
Yeah.
And just like, you get to go to bed when this is done.
Right.
So I was just marching through, and I was like, very great, let's go. And then I went to bed. It was great.
See, it didn't seem like you were up late. Like, that's great.
Yeah. So I think that was my struggle bus.
Yeah.
Is my struggle bus. So I'm kind of working on that. So I think that might be a solution.
I know. I felt bad. You were experiencing like another morning of like panic the other day, and I was like, bud, you might need to take some of this into the nighttime.
Yeah. Well, that's the hard thing, is I have so many things I have to do, like do stuff for the dumb dads, but I also do stuff for the PTA. And then part of being a social media person who's an SAG actor, I have to also submit all my paperwork so that we can have health insurance, and I've been behind on all that, and it's just been very overwhelming and frustrating. But on Tuesdays the kids get out at 1:30. On the other days they get out at 2:30. So like my workday kind of ends at 2:30.
Yeah.
And I really only start after drop off at 8. So it's like, that's not a huge amount of time.
It feels like a lot of time when you think about it, and then once the day passes by so fast.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
I'll be back in that mode for a little bit. In a week or two, unless anyone knows of a producing position.
Anybody is looking for a producer, my wife is very good.
My next gig. But I'll have a little breaky with the kids, which will be nice.
Yep.
For a minute until I start stressing out.
Great.
Let's
go with
take it,
Let's do that.
And then tonight we're going to have a little nice celebration for our 19th anniversary.
Yep.
Even though it's just dating anniversary, it still counts.
That still counts. How it started. How it's going. Married.
Married, kids. Done it. I do want to read a review.
Great. Guys,
We got a new review.
we got a new review. Thank
I
you
do
for
wanna
everybody who's
read.
written one in. Please write them in. Overcommittedpod@gmail.com.
Yes.
We love reading them on the podcast, but even if you just want to leave 5 stars, that's great too, because that
Yes.
helps our rankings going up, so people can find us, and obviously like suggest us to couples, new parents, people over 40. I don't know,
I know.
whatever. But yeah, pass this along, spread the word. We really love doing this, and we'd love to reach out to more
It's
people.
funny you posted that video yesterday where I have like the briefest of cameos in your dumb dad page, and
Yeah.
people were like, "Can't believe you're married! I forget you're married." And I'm like, I never know how to not be annoying.
No, it's all
Period. I
just-
never know how to not be.
They're not annoyed if they didn't
End of
know about it,
sentence.
and then
no,
they
I know,
learn.
I know. It's strange to like, I want people to discover us, but I also don't want to be
A bother, a
annoying.
people
I don't want to be
pleaser,
a
a
bother,
bother,
you know.
yep.
But if you have friends that are looking for couples talking about parenting stuff, then
Yeah.
send them our way. Anyway, someone wrote, pod fan number 23 wrote, love you guys. Great conversations between two parents who love, understand each other, and love their kids more than anything. Keep it up. And they wrote, great podcast. Isn't that so nice?
That's so nice.
How do you know we love our kids?
We're
Just
obsessed.
kidding. We do. We're obsessed.
Obsessed. Thank you very much. That's very nice.
That is so nice. Thank you so much for listening, and we will be back to our regular scheduled podcasts after this week.
Yep.
Follow us at Overcommitted Pod. Follow me at Annie LaFerrier. Follow Kevin at
Kev Laugh or at the Dumb Dads.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, and thanks for having
me.
For 19,
19 years.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.